Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Melissa DeGusto.
And I'm Kevin Roman.
And we want to welcome you to PCCS's emPower Hour, where we have members of the community coming together to reconfigure humankind. So today we have two really special guests. We have Irene Kavanaugh, the SIDDC, or the Staten Island Developmental Disabilities Council Chair, and Marissa Corio, the Information and Outreach Specialist at the SIDDC. So thank you both for joining us today. We're really excited to have you. Do you guys want to give a little brief intro of who you are and how you guys got involved with the DDC?
I'm Irene Kavanaugh. I'm Associate Executive Director at Eden 2 Programs. It's an agency, a not-for-profit agency on Staten Island, provides services to children and adults with autism. And I guess I got involved about 16 years ago when my boss at the time said, you know, we need you to volunteer, we need you to go and find out things, make connections, find out things about our field, get updated information, join a committee, and then we need help with the fair. So, I mean, I think part of it was even just stuffing envelopes, and that was almost how it started. And here I am 16 years later, and it kind of snowballs, but it wouldn't have snowballed if I wasn't getting something out of it. And so what happened was, as much as I was giving, I was getting back in information, getting back in connections with people who did the same job as me, and had colleagues and to throw things back and forth, ideas back and forth, and also to meet other service providers and to meet families and self-advocates and get a different perspective on what we were doing as a field, providing services. And so it just is a great place. It turned out to be a great place to understand the field from all different perspectives in our community, not anywhere else, not looking at something from far away, but just really in our own backyard, which is really, really valuable, considering that, the strategies that you use are for, they're specific, they're individualized. We want our services individualized. We want to meet the needs of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, IDDD, right? Where they are, where they live, in their own backyard. And so the experiences that I had and the opportunities were so beneficial, I stuck around. And so now you work your way up, and I don't kind of know how this happened, but here we are. So that's how.
And now there's no going back.
There's no going back.
We love that. We love to hear that. And Marissa, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? How you got
Sure. Irene, that was a great intro. Very hit the nail on the head. So my name is Marissa Corio, and I have been in the field for about 9 years now. I've worked for a nonprofit agency. About 4 years ago, I got involved with SIDDC voluntarily. And when I resigned from the agency because I had my first child, I kind of also got brought back into the field when the outreach position became available. I've always just really appreciated SIDDC as a resource. As Irene said, when I was a volunteer, I was able to bring back a lot of information to my agency. And I'm just very grateful to work for, a place that provides support and resources to the families out there and the professionals that need it.
That's great. So with that said, Irene, can you tell us a little bit about the history of the DDC? What is the Staten Island Developmental Disabilities Council for someone who doesn't know and who is new to the field as a whole?
Right. Well, so we're in the 51st year of the council, and the council 51 years ago, they're deemed to be a need for a council to be put together to, talked about before, address the needs of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. They weren't called that back then. The field evolves. The field has come a long way from the days of Willowbrook. I think that we have a special, the council on Staten Island, because there are 5, right? There are 5 different boroughs of New York City, so there are 5 different councils: the Brooklyn councils, Queens, Staten Island, Bronx, and Manhattan. And they all came about at the, about the same time. But we're special. We're special because we have Willowbrook right here. And we met in person on the grounds of Willowbrook. I think that we feel a special responsibility to participate in the development of programs, move legislation forward in our field, and to preserve the memory of Willowbrook and all the things that happened there, so that we don't move backwards and we don't move towards a dark, dark time in our history as a field. I was around back then. I started in the field in end of 1982, the beginning of 1983, and I worked in an ICF in Brooklyn, and people were coming out of Willowbrook and going into community residences, intermediate care facilities, ICFs in their borough. That was the idea. They were supposed to go back into their borough. And so, I remember people coming out, individuals coming out of Willowbrook and coming into group homes. So it does have special meaning for me too. But I think that the task of ensuring that we continue to move forward and that we develop strong committees so that the voices of all of the participants in the programs are heard, and that we help to put together a voice, a strong, unified voice, to have the legislators, the people who are making the decisions, understand the needs of the community. And I see right now, there was a message, the revolution for disability justice started right here on Staten Island. It did start right here on Staten Island. And so, and that is on our backs. That we actually have a Willowbrook Legacy Committee. And I'm sure that that's going to be a topic. So I'm not going to give a spoiler for that. I'm not going to ruin it for that committee, because it's an important committee. But so in essence, that's what we do.
Nice.
That's a lot. It seems like the DDC, does a lot. So that's awesome. So Irene, I know, prior to us even getting on our live here, we were talking about the website and how we built this beautiful website that's just chock full of information. And I know we've spoken to parents in the past, and parents with children that they don't know where the first step is. So the DDC really is a great resource for these families. So I'm going to pull up the website so that way we can kind of like walk through it a little bit. I think hearing from you would make it great. Cool.
Good.
Sorry about that. Love technology. All during COVID, every time it has not failed, but to hold me back a little bit. So, with that said, I'm going to share.
There we go.
Perfect.
There we go. So a bit about, so you can learn a lot about Staten Island Developmental Disabilities Council by looking at the website. And the first tab, you see about, so as I'm the current chairperson of the Staten Island Developmental Disabilities Council, but I'm also pleased to introduce, keep moving, to introduce you to our officers. So Diane Perugia is our first vice chair. And Diane has lots of experience in the field and a child who received services. Jason Haar is our second vice chair. He works for On Your Mark. Oh, and she's very involved in the Grace Foundation. Jason Haar is involved in residential and is with On Your Mark, and he's the second vice chair. Dina Klein works for a very special place. Everybody has second jobs, by the way. The council is the second job. So she's our treasurer. And last but not least, Mary Alice Fegley is our recording secretary. So these are the officers of the council, and that's for 2 years. In addition, we have a distinguished executive board with members who are past presidents, past chair people, and also the committee co-chairs. And so they work tirelessly advocating for the rights of the disabled, and are tasked with addressing the many different issues surrounding services provided by our provided to our IDDD population. So if you want to know about any of the committees, we have a description, what the purpose is for each one of them, and the names and the contacts for each of the chairs. There are 2 co-chairs for each. Actually, you'll see that there's one here or there, but that only means that there's somebody coming that we're going to be recruiting. So the council is comprised of Adult Services Committee, Care Management, Family Support, Advocacy, Care Management, Community Outreach. But under Community Outreach is also the Family Support and Resource Fair. It's an ad hoc committee, so that fair that happens every year is out of that committee. Education, Family Resource and Transition Fair is right there. Family Support and Advocacy Council. So that is, in fact, actually another council within the council. And Marissa can tell you about that later. Okay, Marissa, I'm going to leave that for you because that's your area.
Sure.
Okay, you can explain who can be a member of that. It's a little different. Okay, and then we also have Health and Clinical Services and Membership and Guidelines, Residential Quality of Life, Self-Directed Supports, which is a relatively new committee. We evolve and we change with the times, and we try to keep up. And so Self-Directed Supports a number of years ago wasn't as popular on Staten Island as it was in Long Island, in the city, as it was in Long Island and upstate New York. So Self-Directed Supports is a relatively new committee. And then the Willowbrook Legacy is a really important committee, and there will be the Willowbrook Mile, but you're going to hear all about that, and it's a great talk, so they should probably come next. The co-chairs of all the committees are looking for committee members to strengthen their committees. So please, for anyone interested in the council, join, and Marissa will talk to you about membership and joining, but don't just join a committee too. And the beauty of the council and the beauty of the different committees is that there's something for everybody at every point in their lives, right? So there's a committee, there's education, but when you're finished with education, there's adult services, there's residential quality of life. It grows. The different committees and the different issues grow with the person, right? So we're really person-centered. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I got it plugged in. But we're person-centered. It's a person-centered approach. Families are welcome to attend. Agency people, advocates, self-advocates, and anybody from the community could and should join. We have vendors, and Marissa will talk to you about the different membership types. And so how can the committees be strengthened, right? By adding the voices of self-advocates and parents, guardians, siblings, agency staff, and anyone with a passion for helping guide current practice, government policies, funding, regulations. Anybody interested in guiding the future of our services should join the committee that interests them most. And that's what we do at the council. That's the goal. Like that, those are our missions. Those are the areas that we're striving to positively affect, right? So again, and in talking about what we do at the council and expanding on it, SIDDC, or the council as we call it, because we don't say Staten Island Developmental Disabilities Council all the time. We just say the council, right? As we so lovingly call it, is where you will find the answers to questions that you have. You know what? Here's the thing, and I think it should be our motto. If we don't have the answer, we're going to work really hard to find the answer for you. So we don't always get the answer that people want. Okay, but we offer committees and advocacy opportunities to provide meaningful participation in changing the horizon. So it might not be that, this is not available. That's not the answer we want, that this service is not available to you. That might not be the answer. So if there is something that is off-putting, or, some regulations or changes or changing in funding, which is always a challenge, we offer paths to have your voices heard. So if you're not already a member of the council, Marissa will talk to you about becoming a member. But if you are, or if you're planning on becoming a member, please also plan on being a committee member. Okay. Marissa, do you want to,
Yes.
I'm not going to talk about membership. It's your thing.
So just to say, it's really a shame that I'm not out there anymore. I would attend numerous events throughout the year, and young parents were really, very eager to learn about what supports. And as Irene said, if I didn't have an answer for them, I would have a committee to refer them to, and I would see them come to our general council meetings. And now, they became a member. My hands are tied right now to an extent because I can't get out there and meet these families from, in different schools or just community resource events. So I can't wait for this to just, for COVID to go away so we could go back to normal and I could get back out there.
Mm-hmm.
But, for the meantime, we are reaching out to everyone, via email. You guys know we're all dealing with this kind of together. Just side note for family support services, as Irene was speaking about before, you can come to our meeting if you are a family member or a person with an intellectual developmental disability. But you have to be a family member. It can't just be like professional in the field. It's more of an intimate setting there. And our next meeting for family support is actually January 11th at 7 p.m. And you can find that information on our website also. So all of our information, as Irene said, for our upcoming meetings are on the website, and our membership form is also there. This way you can get frequent emails and reminders on what's coming up, whether it's an event or a meeting. What else here? If you're interested in becoming a member, agencies, we have a lot of agency members, professionals in the field, like all of us, we're all members. And of course, family members and self-advocates, which to me it's so important because they're not in the know right now. They're either home. We want to get, out to them, let them know we're here as a resource and a support for them. What did I not touch base on there, Irene?
Check it out. I just said
Sure. Oh no. Okay, let's see.
we also we have
of course.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. It's right in front of me too, but I was writing notes as you were telling me to talk about this. So our next general council meeting, we have one meeting in the day monthly, and then usually every month we'll have an evening recap meeting. Our next general council meeting, where you can meet all of our committee members via Zoom, of course, is January 22nd at 9:30 a.m. Can we put that in the chat? I'll put it in our comments. And the evening meeting is January 27th at 7 p.m. So there's a morning meeting, the third Friday of each month usually. This month it's the fourth Friday. And then we have an evening recap meeting where you can meet the committees and hear their reports and whatever the guest speaker of the day is. Let's put that in the chat.
We have fun guest speakers every month of different topics and different topics of interest to the community at large.
Very nice.
And we're a really fun group.
That's definitely true. That is very true.
We're pretty
Absolutely.
easygoing, I think.
Love it.
That's great.
Does I guess, Irene, do you want to talk a little about the community breakfast that's coming soon, or?
The community breakfast, good. Great. I actually made notes too. So we participate in community advocacy events with the general population, but we also run events on Staten Island. So every year right after, when the budget comes out and right before the finalization of the budget is, really heavy advocacy time, when we want to tell the legislators and give them a chance to learn about, and I'm going to say this, the threats to our services. Okay. And where government officials, i.e. the governor, the commissioner, can learn about how their decisions impact the lives of individuals and families with developmental disabilities and families. So every year we have a community breakfast. It's usually the last week of February, last Friday of February, the first Friday of March. It's always right around that time because the budget gets finished in April, right? So there's a window of opportunity to really advocate for what and it's not just money, it's language too. So language, what it looks like in the budget that represents our fields at large. And it's education, early intervention, Department of Health issues, and OPWDD, Office of People with Developmental Disabilities, which is essentially like Medicaid issues, right? So this year we're going to be doing it by Zoom, which is a little bit stressful. But we're doing it, and so it is scheduled. It's slated for February 26th, and so we're going to be, everything's on the website. I have to just always our mailing list is our mailing list, right? But it's limited. We send it out to agencies, and we hope that the agency personnel send it out to the rest of the agencies, but also that's limited because we don't have control over it. We do have control over what we put in our website. So please go to the website when you it really does sound like a plug, like it sounds like a commercial for SIDDC, but and the website, but we have links to almost anything going on in the community. So if you're interested in joining in and finding out what the issues are and hearing a take on the issues, hearing our legislators talk about how they're going to support us, and we hope there's a lot of people who are supporting us, then please join us for the Zoom legislative breakfast. We call it the community breakfast. It used to be called the legislative breakfast. It's the legislative breakfast essentially. And I'm sure that we will have our co-chairs are Donna Long and Barbara Devaney, and I'm sure they're going to want their time on Facebook Live too, to get out the word, get out the message. And so it's coming up. But we have also participated in I'm going to say it was a downstate. It wasn't city only because it was Long Island too, but it was like a downstate mobile rally where the key term was save our services, SOS, save our services. And that's the theme right now, because with the cuts, the services are getting cut. You can, even if the the knife isn't on the service in particular, cutting rates, if you cut the money that comes into the system, you're cutting the services. When you do something like that, you are taking away choice, right? You're taking away choice for people. You're taking away options for people. You're taking away individuality. And that's what we're all about. So, advocacy is key right now as changes in state education, changes in the state education world, as well as the OPWDD world, threatens to not only diminish the quality of services, but the range of services, which are so integral to the lives of our loved ones. So, advocacy is key. We live in a world right now where, we were really blessed for a really long time. We were lucky we've had decades of really good services and plentiful services on the backs of those initial families who fought for everything we had. And so now we're finding ourselves in a position where it's slowly being taken back a bit from us. And so Save Our Services is where we are right now, saving what we have. And people with developmental disabilities are fighting for the right to live. This is Chris's statement. They're fighting for the services that help them maintain their lives in some, medically frail people who have medically frail conditions, people who have severe intellectual and developmental disabilities, severe autism, who really need 24-hour-a-day care, who need those supports, families who are aging and are not able to, give the support that they were in the past, but want to remain active in their lives. So I'm sure we have another session in the series that will explain those. I won't give away everything in the first one, but certainly there's plenty of reason to join the council and to become an active member in making a difference in the lives of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
That's great. Thank you, Irene, for that. We actually do have a question in the comments from our friend here, Maritza Adorno, is asking, are the hospitals and doctors, are they aware of how to reach out for the families who do not understand the new life or understanding the different types of programs for the disabled person who needs help? So, yeah.
That would, if I understand the question correctly, it's, when a newborn or when someone young on the spectrum, that would be early intervention, right? That would be a referral to early intervention. And so with the threats to early intervention funding, that's an area that we really need to keep focused on. That's one. Two, the doctors and the Health and Clinical Services Committee has done beautiful work in the past with reaching out to the hospitals in our area to understand the needs of people with developmental disabilities and to treat them fairly and to understand, maybe not being able to wait in waiting rooms, and, meeting their needs when they're at the doctor's. And then, yes, there needs to be more education for when healthcare professionals meet somebody with a developmental disability to understand, nobody can be an expert in every area, right? But even if a referral to Marissa to the website, to Staten Island Developmental Disabilities Council, where we may not have the answer to your question, but we're going to lead you down a path to find it, or we're going to find it and get it to you. There's still work to be done. So That was a loaded question. So there were 3 answers to that very important question. And if you see, if any of the people out there who are listening see a deficit somewhere, then bring it to our attention, and we will lead you to the right committee who will address it, and who will work with you to understand it better and to address it to better meet the needs of the families of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities in the community.
So Maritza also did have a response to that many doctors are uneducated on how to help families. I think even on just coming from myself and Kevin's perspective of being a part of the outreach committee for the council, it also falls on every person who has some sort of tie to the council. It becomes almost your responsibility to just speak and advocate on the behalf of everyone and just talk about anything you possibly can, just to kind of sift through what's the useful resources at your hands. So, we see it a lot too. And we hear a lot of stories from families and people that we support that the doctors, that's like one of the biggest hurdles that we've come across, is trying to, speak in a person-centered way and really just give all the equitable opportunity to a person with a disability. So,
it is an area that's the health and clinical services committee. I helped many families when I was PTA president for Hungerford. Yeah, Hungerford's a great place, right? Hungerford led in many different areas and always had really good resource fairs. So thank you for that. And join our health and clinical committee and education committee. Join a couple. You can join more than one. There's no limit.
That's great.
It seems impossible, Maritza, but in a group with a bunch of people behind you, with a bunch of people doing the work, the burden is less. So it's about all coming together. And we welcome you with open arms. Join.
I definitely think that that's one of the key parts, is having strength in numbers. It's not always, I know, when it used to be live, it's not always the greatest thing in the world to have to get up out of your warm bed on a February morning, but also those people who would go to the council, you see like the crowd of people who all have the same goal in mind. It's one thing when it's 1 or 2 families. It's another when you see the full room of everybody trying to make a literal impact on the field and all the legislation behind it as well. So it's definitely strength in numbers. Absolutely.
Well, and we've been getting more people on the Zoom than we ever got live.
Now's the time, right? To join. It's on Zoom.
We do miss the croissants and the Danish, but we are seeing a lot more people, and so good things have come out of a bad situation, I think, too. So you can look at. I'm not being a Pollyanna, but it has been our reality.
Yeah.
And on that not the mobile rally, but there was a Zoom rally. There were over 1,000 people. Mm-hmm. We would never have had that reach before, and so we're experiencing some good effects of a bad situation. Yeah. We should encourage employees and friends to forward information. I do not see enough visibility of the issues, especially the cuts to. Yeah, we should encourage to forward the information. Yeah, check the website forward it. All the rallies. I mean, we get the word out as much as we can possibly get the word out. As I said before, you send it to people and hope they pass it on and pass it on. It's like, tell 2 friends and so on and so forth. But I think that check our website and spread the word. And we're all available on there. If anybody has I get questions, I get people calling, oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, I don't know. And they get my name through the Eden 2 website, of course, but they also get my name through. And I'm always happy. I'm like, wow, yes. All right. I'm not letting you off the phone until we find you the answer. And so I think that everybody at the council has that attitude. Like a dog with a bone. We get a question we don't have an answer to, we're going to find the answer to it. So reach out.
Definitely. So Irene and Marissa, is there a contact email specifically that all general inquiries to the DDC can come through?
Yes. So the contact email is, I'll put it in the comments also. Contact fssac@aol.com. I'm going to write that because it's a little difficult here.
We still have an AOL account.
Throwback.
Yeah, we do.
At least we're keeping it alive.
Around.
There you go. If you could forward that into the comments. I'm not sure.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I just really want to be able to get back out there. I'm hoping things go back to normal sooner than later. As Irene said, we do have a great turnout on our Zoom for our general council meetings and stuff, but I'm not meeting the parents with the questions anymore. You know, I would go to the Hungerford fairs or Autism Speaks, and even if I just brought back 4 parents that needed information to our meeting, that's life-changing. And right now that piece isn't, we're not able to perform that piece, but hopefully things, go back to normal, and we're doing what we can through Zoom. So we're really relying on the community to spread our information, because we can't see people, right? We're not in contact with anybody. So if you could, professionals and any parents on here, just spread the information so we can help as many people as possible.
Yeah, I think that you can do the very, very least is literally just click on share and just share this information. If it's not something that literally is for you, it could be for anybody on your friends list. So it's definitely important. The very least is to just get the information out there. Absolutely.
I just got access to the comments, and Maritza, our hearts go out to you and our condolences. And you're still part of our family, even though your daughter's not here anymore. So please, we're here for you too.
Absolutely. Definitely. So I want to thank both of you guys for coming on today and really sharing the history and the importance of the council and getting involved and why everyone should be getting involved. And I want to use this as a platform for even self-advocates to reach out to us and speak with us and share your stories, because we want to hear from you. Share your stories of how the council impacted you and all the availability and just the up and coming, hopefully not only virtual events and just all these great things. So we want to use this platform any way that we can, any way that'll help and impact and create a social change. So I want to thank you guys again for coming on. And we really look forward to having you guys come back again. And with that said, I want to wish everyone a happy Thursday and have a great day.
Thank you.